You are about to receive messages that may be harmful to your mental state. Your sense of reality will be questioned. Your view on things will be altered. You are now part of the Meta. The Meta controls everything. The Meta determines what will and will not happen. You are watching The Meta Show.
And we should be live. Yay, we're live! Woo! Go me!
Oh my god. Are we doing it? Are we doing it?
Yes.
We're doing it live, aren't we?
I think we're live. Yeah, we're here, I think.
Here we are again, back at it again on the Meta Show for another week.
Yes. And
all right, let me get my best red shirt, let me crack my knuckles, and get ready to see a lot of
100
funny
mil
little
says he
transitions.
screams hello. Oh, you won your 100 mil.
Wow. Yes, I do. Automatically, whoever made that bet, I am nothing.
That was Hippo
if not
Jax. He
consistent.
was making fun of me.
That's excellent. Couldn't even buy a Doomsday today. Yeah, there are missing Doomsdays.
Yeah, so what you see,
like
that's what you see in the background is the MO Keepstar reinforced.
Oh,
that is amazing, and we are delighted to see that. We're already getting some subs and some resubs, so we're going to give shout-outs for that at the end of our opening monologue. You can see, actually, that looks really classy, Vote. I am so busy in my changing room putting on my red shirt every day for the Meta Show to get as trimmed as possible. I'm always impressed when we change our graphics, and that looks really classy. Who helped put that together with the overlay?
So
really good guest slot.
The pictures are, of course, they're Eve pictures, because otherwise it would be their webcam there. And then apparently Skeptic Nerd Guy can make those instantly because he's really good at Photoshop, and they're just copy pastes because we have all the little like pieces. So
well done.
Yep.
Okay, so we're gonna let's just go through the what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking, our top story today when we get there is going to be the Darkness scam. And when people are thinking about Darkness, you might have been thinking about the Alliance Darkness, but no, we mean the individual Darkness with 3 S's, who was a Kribba-style figure for a long time as a trustworthy individual that you could sell super capitals and titans to be an honorable third party. Much like myself, as many of you may know, I was for many years famous throughout the galaxy for being the trusted source for third-party super capital transactions, just like Kribba and Darkness. There was many happy customers from that. So we're going to be talking about that as our top story. We're going to be going through what's happening in the Northern War on the Nullsec Power Hour. That includes some hilarious bits about like tissue going away, some pretty stupid kill mails we're going to be going over. CCP Please, we're going to be talking about work wall hacking. Because that's a thing that's cropped up in the Northern War, as well as the most recent economic report, which
oh yes, I
CCP
forgot
Quad
to
dropped.
include that.
Yeah, well, let's get that on.
I didn't think it was going to be that important because they forgot to include 90% of the things that happened in
that actually matter. Well, we're going to be talking about that because CCP
I will add that. Hold on.
And then we're going to be getting to our special guest segment. And last time we did the Meta Show, we went for an entire hour with the guest segment, because an hour and a half for the total length of the show, because it was such a good time. We are delighted to have Getting Killa Bee back on the show again. We have Poison Kevin, William Crane, and Villy from Test Alliance. So everybody who is involved in the fight over the MTICO Keepstar and in the war in Veil of the Silent, we're going to be letting them tell us about how the war up there is going as we sit here and eat popcorn. So finally, one last thing before we move on. We are always recruiting on Imperium News. We've been having a lot of progress with the editorial team, and now we're working a lot more on the streaming team. We're looking to have people join us as writers and streamers, and if anybody is interested in coming on board as a web dev, we're always looking for people with WordPress and front-end experience to make things look pretty and make things go faster and better. So check out that article if you want. We can make it rain on you from our multi-dollar media empire. So, Boat, I think that's at the end of the opening monologue.
Yes.
Which means it's time for us to give some shout-outs. Who are we giving shout-outs to before we go into our top story?
1 second. I was just reminded by Poison Kevin that I swapped their faces. So stand by while I fix this. I'm bad at this. There's always a technical error when I'm running the show. Sorry.
All right, I'll go through here.
But yeah, I got it. I got it. 1 second. So Jimmy J999 which is
Jim J99
my
for
favorite
22
sadist.
months in a row,
22 months,
and
yeah.
he's wearing his favorite red steel wool underwear. That's pretty awesome. That's like blue steel, but my version. Rishion for 22 months in a row says Ice Storm is coming. That's true. We are planning Ice Storm this year.
I wrote it as Ice Swarm, like as in the guy Ice Bee, or yeah.
And Brett Snoz subscribed with Twitch Prime. We love Twitch Prime subs. Bezos Bucks are excellent.
2 months actually.
And excellent. So thank you guys so much for subscribing and following us, for those of you who are following. And we're going to move on to the next segment. And do we have a fancy transition?
Yes, of course we do. The audio is missing
baby.
because I broke it, and he's going to get mad at me. But Olar, again, with this lovely top story GIF. It has audio to go with it. It sounds really fancy, but I couldn't get it to work for the show. So, yeah.
Oboed.
Yeah, but it's... Still, that's still amazing.
Yeah.
Find the loss while we're in transition. Thank you for your 12 months, sir.
Find the loss.
All right, so
excellent.
that's the top
Great.
story image.
That is a really good GIF.
Yes,
I
love all
that.
our
That is
GIFs.
fantastic.
So good.
You know, it's really nice to see. That is one of the things that is nice. Ever since we got my name off the website and we moved to WordPress and we've been organizing things better, we're getting a lot of talent also in our creative department. We've got a lot of designers. We're spinning up a design division for people who are doing this kind of thing. So that's excellent.
Oh, Skeptic. Oh, dear. He spelled Billy, V-I-L-L-Y.
Well, it's better.
It's all right. It's better than nothing. Yeah, anyways. So... Top story.
Top story.
As we
Wow.
go into this top story, I want to take a moment to, like, all week I've been acting like Trump on Twitter, and when you said we're great, this is great. I mean, we're all great here. I did that in a tweet recently. Just the whole, like, the meta show's great. We have great guests.
We're making the meta show great again.
Yes. And why? Oh, that worked. Wow, that actually works. All right. So top story. I just linked it twice because I'm terrible at this.
I linked it first, and then you linked it a second.
Yeah.
time,
So,
just to be
oh my
sure.
God, this is huge. The fact that it was not talked about more in space, the fact that it wasn't, yeah, like the fact that this wasn't.
Let's
like,
back it up. Let's back it up here, Boat.
Okay.
Why don't you tell the viewers?
So who's
who
Darkness?
is Darkness?
So Darkness is old as Kribba. Darkness and Kribba are the two original third-party trusted people. So for Forever and Eve, until the invention of the Keepstar, you could not sell a Titan on the open market. Kind of like selling Caracals on the open market. That's a bad thing. Now you can sell Titans on the open market. Well, before that, in order to sell one and not get scammed by us honorable characters as myself and the Matani here, you would go. Well, I did 10%. You know, I don't know what you did, but I got 10%.
I am the most honorable.
Scooter got the other 90. I just got the 10.
Honorable of third parties. Any accusations that we sold Titans that were Ghost Titans was just locker room talk.
Yeah. So moving forward. So in order to keep yourself from getting scammed, a Titan pilot or super carrier pilot would go. If they knew what they were doing, if they actually paid attention, would go, okay, I need Darkness or Kribba to do this, and they would charge a nominal fee. And what would happen is you would send Darkness the ISK. Darkness would tell you to meet him in a certain place. You would send him the ISK. Darkness would then say, okay, I've got possession of the ship. I got possession of the ISK. He would then hand the opposite party their transaction, keep his fee, and you be on your way. And Kribba's done thousands of these. Darkness has done thousands of these. And with the invention of Keepstars, his business is kind of draining because you could just park your Titan in a Keepstar and sell it on the open market or contract it.
Contract, exactly.
Yeah. And he said, okay, I'm out of the game, and proceeded to steal Vanquish. Or, is it Vanquish? Whatever the Titan is, the faction Titan, it's worth $300 billion. He stole the escrow.
Well, I mean, Killaby has one.
Yeah, he stole the escrow. Basically, the guy was getting it built. He gave Darkness the money to hold on to until it was built, and now the money is Darkness's. And also, I believe, it wasn't confirmed in the story, but someone said they were in the process of having him hold an Imp blueprint. An Imp is the Alliance Tournament cruiser that looks like a Phantasm that's worth like $100 billion plus for the blueprint minimum. So they were in the process, so it's possible he stole that. And whatever else he was stealing. They also started catching on to his alts that do this transaction stuff, and he might have stole a couple of Nixes and Aeon and a couple other stuff on the way out. So
well,
yeah.
You know what? As a honorable super capital third-party assistance, the name trusted around New Eden, because I am an alliance leader and I have been on the CSM, which is why you can trust honest Matani. I'm proud of the guy. Like, I'm delighted that he finally went dark side. I've been waiting for. It's always struck me as odd that a guy who was, he's a Triumvirate guy, right? Originally, he was an Infi and Tri.
One of the oldest of Triumvirate guys.
I was just like, why on earth would you go to a Tri guy as a third party? And I'm glad to know that my suspicions were eventually confirmed. He built it up over a long period of time.
He's been doing it 7 years.
Good business, and then he finally, waited until the score was big enough and the business was threatening, and then. Business was getting threatened, and then he cashed out. And so God bless that.
He did it at the perfect time too, because as we know from previous meta shows, Lenny is in the process of setting up Keepstars all around EVE, so it's going to make it easier for these people to sell their stuff on the open market and in contracts. So that's why it's a perfect time to cash out. I'm surprised. I doubt what's his name would, but I'm surprised Kribba hasn't yet. In terms of third-party transactions. But maybe that's just...
Well, I mean, the era of the Keepstar sort of makes the third-party stuff just go away.
Yeah.
Right? But, I think that there will always be scams like this as long as there are...
as long as there's money to be made, yes.
As long as there are people that are going to make the same mistakes over and over again, which is not too likely to change anytime soon. The scams might change, the marks will stay the same. Let's see what we've got.
Yeah, so that's the top story. So that's a big deal. And a lot of people go, okay, so why is that your top story out of all the other things you're going to talk about? Because it is. This guy is one of
This is massive. If you think it's not the top story,
when you
wrong.
think of EVE, a lot of people have trust issues in EVE. It's one of the biggest things about EVE, spying and scams, and it's all CCP talks about in the public. And then
the closest thing to a top story, to a top story besides that is the Imtaco Keepstar hit, and we don't know whether anything is going to come from that. So this is a major shift that is also an indication of the tides turning in EVE. So we're going to move on from this, but before we finish up our top story segment, we are going to give shout-outs. We've got a couple of donations, and I saw a couple of subscribers there.
Yes, I'm trying to keep up with them. It's so hard. So hard.
One of the things we're going to start doing, guys, is because we want to make sure that the flow of the show isn't interrupted, we will read out donation messages. If it's, have we said the threshold is at least like $3? I think if you said at least $3 to support the stream,
well,
we'll read the
$3
message.
is the minimum, and then so if you just donate, we'll read your message. And I try to read them online during my show, but during this show, sometimes it's harder. But the message will get read aloud, or it's supposed to. We might have to turn that function back on.
Let's go ahead and go back and give shout-outs for subs during this thing. I see that we have. So one of the ones here, a random QWERTY, just subscribed to Twitch Prime. Thank you. We also have Finds the Lost for 12 months. So that's an entire year. Awesome. We are really looking forward to having special badges for our subscribers that have the Imperium Eagle on them instead of the Spy Guy. And we're going to be getting subscriber badges that are reflective of how long you've supported the stream. So if you've been subscribing for a year, like Finds the Lost just did, you will get a special fancy badge compared to somebody who's only subscribed for a couple of months, because we want to, we want to be able to reward you for your support. And Headcase74 with
brand new
Twitch.
Twitch. Okay, and we have two donations. Ogami Ito with $10 and Slap Chopper with $3. Thank you.
Wow,
thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Ogami.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move into
CCP, please. No,
Nullsec Power.
Let's do it.
Gosh,
let's see what we got.
The order. Oh. Anyways, Nullsec Power Hour and our fancy infograph. I love these things; they're so good.
Oh man!
All right, so we move right into the M-O, iHub, TCU, and Station fell this week. All three fell within a week, as it takes a week to take a station, and that wasn't very surprising. I'm surprised it didn't happen earlier. I mean, I don't know what CO2 is doing. I think they're in Vale now, or Venal, or something like that.
No, they're in Venal. Yeah, basically, Venal. So what happened there is after GigX just threw in the towel, basically, and moved. We were talking about this last week, and we were thinking that it's actually a very clever move, because if he wants to fight over the Imtaco Keepstar as a force multiplier, entirely reasonable, good strategy, moving his super capital fleet to Aunanen for the New Eden Trading Company, which is Lenny Kravitz's network, we're seeing some interesting strife, because I've always believed that the New Eden Trading Network is essentially a PL power projection front. I don't believe anything whenever anybody says, oh, it's a totally neutral business proposition just for merchant stuff, because that's what the Interstellar Starbase Syndicate was, which was literally a Bob and Lock of Volterra front. So I don't buy any of that crap. But it was pretty interesting to see GigX put the New Eden Trading Company in a difficult position by parking his CO2s Supers and Titans there, such that they could then jump back into MTAC-O. But MTAC-O was reinforced today with just subcaps from PL, NC Dot, Horde, and I believe Mercenary Coalition were on the field
Everyone
as well.
was there, yeah. Darkness showed up at the last few minutes, and we'll get to...
And they didn't gun the thing!
No, so yeah, here we go. We could go ahead and go a little out of order here. So the MS show Keep Stars Reinforced. You see the timer right here above you. 1840 Eve tomorrow. Tune in. I will be live streaming if there's no other stream going on, and I will be bombing. And I'll be bombing everyone, as always. I love it. It's so good. I love bombing. I'm so good at it.
Yeah, that's going to be massive.
But
so.
what happened was, right when I was doing a move up, and GigX just happened to go AFK in the gunner seat, they hit it. Never even fired a shot. The entire first cycle.
This is, if that's true, and I'm not sure how we know whether...
I know because I PM people. I message individuals personally and said, okay, what the fuck just happened? And they all replied, yeah, GigX was AFK.
No, this reminds me, Bo, do you remember the Warfare Branch when we were first taking the North?
Yes!
With Goonswarm?
White Noise was AFK
and
the first
Hose, White Noise was led by a Russian gentleman by the name of Hose. And for the major final operation where he had called everyone together, all of his banners, to defend against these evil goons, he literally slept through it.
Yeah, he didn't show up.
So his name became Hose.
Yeah, and according to like people I talked to on both sides, so I PM individuals. I was going to try to do it live on the stream here and like have them say it themselves, kind of thing. But
you don't want to expose your sources,
right?
But they high ranking and
well, it wasn't even high ranking. These were just like line members.
That's not somebody that I would ever expose. Who high ranking Imperial official is that I get my quotes from.
But yeah, these are all just like regular line members, and they're like, yeah, he was AFK. Lol. And apparently,
well, I mean,
we've noticed this before because when they fought at the Fortizar, that first Fortizar that went down in 15W, he was gunning while FCing, which was very strange. And apparently he wasn't letting anyone else gun.
Is there any possibility that GigX did this intentionally because he didn't want to expose when he knew that it was going to get reinforced because he didn't have forces in the field? Is there a possibility that GigX chose not to shoot the subcaps in order not to display to the enemy what the capabilities were?
No, because they could ship scan it when it goes vulnerable and know exactly how it's fit. And once they start shooting it, he can't change the fit. So from here on out, that's the fit it's going to have until it fully repairs or dies.
I got nothing.
Yeah, I mean,
got
he had
nothing.
A Doomsday that could have whacked 10 max ago. Just put him at the Macarials, fire the Doomsday, and watch 10 Macarials blow up every 6 or every 10 minutes. So for
maybe
he could have zapped 30 Macarials probably.
I mean, maybe it's because he's a traitor. I'm just going to throw it out there. Maybe the reason why GigX had trouble operating the Keepstar is because GigX is a traitor and CO2 are all traitors, and that this is what they get and this is what they deserve. We don't pull punches here on the Meta Show. This is all real talk all the time.
We're a serious business group.
CO2 are traitors. This is factually proven. We have all the logs that were exposed to show this.
And the Bosa papers. There we go. Yeah.
And CO2 are traitors, and this is what traitors do. They die in shame, unloved and unsung.
It gets even better. Unlike CNN, we will report all the facts without holding the punches.
Fair and balanced here. We report and we also decide. We report and we decide.
That's what I mean. You decide.
That's how we roll.
Okay, so that happened, and to be honest, we'll see what happens tomorrow. Everyone in Eve is saying, "Okay, fuck it, this is gonna be the fight."
The guests are gonna be in 8 minutes, guys. Don't worry. That's when we.
They're coming. They'll be here soon.
We do that at the 30
We gotta move.
mark.
We gotta move quick. So, War is now translating. It's transitioning to Veil. We'll get to that when our guests get here. So we're gonna skip that. First time.
Well, I mean,
oh wait, we don't need to skip it.
Hold on a moment. Calm down.
I'm
Take a
excited.
deep breath. I got this. I know you're excited. I'm gonna let you loose amongst all of our enemies as guests, and then I'm still gonna actually try to make you be calm because I want to hear what they have to say. But a couple different things have happened. There was a dread bomb in Fountain with escalating entropy and chaos theory ganking a pile of culture supers. That was notable.
Yeah, that was hilarious. A bait dread.
There's a little bit of a slap fight happening in Fountain where the culture had been fighting against the Fountain core people, and also Red Menace Coalition, RMC. But that war has slowed down because the culture has timed their vulnerability window for U.S. time zone, and their enemies are Russians and early EuroTZ. So that's the most action there.
And since last week, Catch War has dried up, so I didn't even include it this week. It's done. They haven't been fighting.
More updates, though. Probably the one. So again, we're talking about protecting our sources, guys. It is really, really important to protect your sources. There is a high-ranking Imperium official. I've nicknamed him Tilde Throat, and we will never expose our sources and our methods here on the Meta Show. So if you, like Tilde Throat, want to come forward and give off-the-record information about what's really going on in the Imperium, you know how to get in touch with us. But,
Tissue's dead, aren't they?
Yeah, Tissue is dead, and you know, rest in piss.
That's the first of our enemies to die since the war ended, isn't it?
I don't know if it's actually the first of these hostile alliances to be closed down, because there's a lot of little random crap alliances that sort of got
OSS
knocked
closed
off the
down,
table.
so that's 2.
That's right,
Yeah,
OSS. We got to go check the list. Somebody in chat earlier was
somewhere.
surprised about us holding grudges. This is Goonswarm. This is what we do. We never forgive and
Tilde
never
Throat is
forget.
goddamn amazing. Oh god.
Let's
Oh,
move
by the
on
way,
to
we have
CCP,
plenty of time
please.
for our guest. I've cleared up plenty of time for them, so don't worry. We'll get
We're
to them.
going to talk to the guests at the 30-minute mark. We're going to
We're
go
gonna
to
try.
CCP, please.
We're gonna
Let's
try.
do shout-outs for people who. Let's do shout-outs before we go to CCP, please.
Well, I really want to get to these comedy kills. The reason I include them, they're really important. These are important.
Okay.
Not all of them. The Revenant, they're going to get linked. This Revenant died. He's an ex-solo PvPer from LSH. And he literally owns that region in terms of hunting. And he's been baited hundreds of times, gotten away every time, and then he finally got caught and killed. That's a big deal. Also, a bunch of supers that were killed recently all occurred random places, but there is one that's really special.
Blood Covenant's gone. Sorry, Sadis was reminding me that's another dead hostile alliance.
So I
forgot Blood
This
Covenant.
is special because it's a Northern Associates Declan Renter dying with a completely, basically unfit Ratty Nix. Just all DPS and no tech.
EVE Online.
That was really funny.
Late 2016.
And then, again, this boggles my mind. This is a pet peeve of mine. Don't ever do this. This is a golem. This is a 30 billion ISK farming golem. The amount of farming this guy has to do in that golem to pay for it is the equivalent of almost 1,000 hours of in-game money making.
Tissue is finished.
Or we could mine an
used up
Oracle,
all the
like
tissues.
goddamn adult.
Yeah, so, yeah,
24 billion ISK,
that.
24.5 billion ISK on a low-sec mission-running golem. These people.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to cut you off here.
Yeah, we're going to go CCP, please.
Okay. But before we do that, let's give shout-outs.
Shout-outs, yeah, we have a few. We've had some donations, so let me go to those.
Pee-wee Herman just donated. Tissue is finished, and then it fell off the screen.
Yes.
Thank you, Pee-wee Herman, for your
Yes,
$5.
and there's a
Thank you for
couple more.
supporting
Hold
the
on. So Pee-wee Herman, Donald J. Trump, $3 says, CO2 are traitors and losers. I grabbed them by their pushy. Oh, that's great.
And then CO2 is definitely going to get grabbed.
Think we had any new subscribers. I was trying to look for those, and I didn't see any notes. So we're good.
We had Headcase74 just before we did the last transition, so he just got a double shout-out there.
So we go to CCP, please! Yay!
This is the best transition.
So
this is amazing.
Please, sir. I want some more.
I'm gonna play this twice, just because it's so good.
Please, sir. I want some more.
God, I love that. It's so fucking good. Oh my god. Oh man.
Wow.
So, I removed the thing we had, but first things first, up to bat, is the economic report came out for November. The monthly report that CCP does. These numbers are still fucking mind-boggling. 2.1 trillion in Delve mining, but the really fucking funny thing about the 2.1 trillion in mining is it did not include drones. So the thousands of oracles in EVE don't exist.
There are no Rorquals in Delve.
Yes,
All of this is just a bug in the report. There are no Rorquals in Delve. I have that straight from my source of Tilde Throat.
Tilde Throat.
And Tilde Throat says there's no Rorquals in Delve. I believe him.
According to Tilde Throat, too, there are thousands of oracles in the drones that can't be hit by anyone from Pandemic Horde to anyone up there because they've signed naps with all of them.
I am. So one of the things that goes on from this is, the economic report is fascinating. You'll see real talk, massive economic activity, sort of a comeback from mining across the board, which has happened even before we saw these buffs to Rorquals, which are very popular. But one of the leaders of a former NBC Alliance test had Pro God Legend, Piggles, was posting loudly in response to the PL attack on Veil of the Silent and Tribute that Rorquals shouldn't be able to fit in Tosis links because PL is beginning to use this. Now, what's interesting about a Rorqual is it doesn't tank as well as a fax machine, but it can actually fight back. Properly fit combat Rorqual.
It tanks harder than a fax machine by almost double.
Really?
Yes. So Rorquals, I want to talk about this because it's been a little pet peeve of mine.
You have 2 minutes.
These things are nasty. 10 light year jump range, 90% fatigue reduction. They can hull tank 2 Doomsdays and use the emergency mod. While in hull tank, they can fit 70 points worth of pointing, which means they can point any Titan in the game, even if it's Warp Core stepped. They can also use the emergency hull capital thing, which makes them invulnerable for 20 seconds, while still holding the point and sinoing, and then they can hit their panic mode. While in panic mode, they can't hack, but they've got 5 minutes to get help, which they can light a Sino. So they can sit there and hack and hack and hack, and as soon as you drop the house on them, they light a Sino, they hit panic mode, all their friends come and save them. Now, why this is a big deal is if you use them to hack in multiple systems because of fatigue reduction, you can just jump your supers to them and chain them around. And because the 5-minute invuln, by the time another group gets to the next Rorqual, your fatigue's down. You're jumping
or
to the next
potentially
Rorqual.
you can just have an entire for fatigue reduction.
Yes.
You could use supers and carriers to jump around, which don't get fatigue reduction. Or you could just have an entire swarm of Rorquals, combat fit, bouncing around between each other. You get
and if you have it level 5,
hacking and 10 Rorquals just bouncing as combat.
If you have it at level 5, it's 7.5 minutes, which means the fatigue on the capitals that come to save you will be down by the time you get to the next one. And get ready to jump save that.
That is a thing, and not only is that a thing, because that was used in the theater, I'm going to line up a subtle segue, because that was most recently displayed in the theater of Veil of the Silent.
Oh, it gets better! I have a new segue gif. I don't know where I put it though.
A new segue for we've got a new thing here.
Hold on, where did they put it?
Bring on our guests now. Let's see what Boat's segue is, and shit is about to get real, boys and girls.
The guests are that, of course, is still the debate, but I have a thing for when you spin. Someone made me an audio and video spin zone for the Matati, and I'm going to link it here now. This has never been shown before.
Let's do it.
And then we'll go to our guests. So
are you going to link it or are you going to play it?
I'm going to play it. Just give me 30 seconds because I almost forgot about it. Let me grab it.
Oh, boy.
You guys are going to get to see it first. This has never been seen before.
We report and we also decide. Only on the Meta Show.
Where did I put it? Where did I put it? I need this. I need this. It's so good. Like it has like I think it's like a legit spinny thingy too. I don't know. I'll have to show it later. I don't know where I put it, but he gave it to me, and it's so good.
How about this? How about this? We'll bring the guests on board, and then when I start running my mouth and spinning,
I'll look for it.
You look for it while the guests are talking.
So
and
we move to our
special
debate, and we have 4 people here, so this fits perfectly.
Let's make sure to show the debate, special debate.
Oh yeah, it is.
That is important. I love our special debate.
There it is, right there.
There we go.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and drag them in, and I'm gonna warn them, and then drag them in.
Special.
I'm dragging you guys in.
Oh no.
We're just gonna have to surprise you guys with the spin zone.
All right, yes. So hey, everyone's here. So I'm gonna take a moment and we're gonna introduce everyone. We go into our special guest segment, and
all right, I'm going to ask the questions while Boat goes looking for the spin zone.
Hold on, I gotta introduce them first. You can't get to the questions.
I'm going to introduce them while you go. Look, I'm helping you, Boat. I'm a helper. So once again, I'd like to welcome Killabee back onto the show. We had you on here last week. It went fantastically. We got to hear a little bit of gossip about what was happening with Gobbins and Horde live on the Meta Show. So for those of you, for people who missed who Killabee is unfortunately the reason why the Imperium was completely defeated, why we have nothing in Delve, why we lost the Casino War. He is such a conqueror that he was able to actually give a presentation at Amsterdam about his success in the Casino War. So, Killabee, why don't you tell us all a little bit about yourself, and you're with PL, I believe.
Yeah, hey, I'm Killabee, a Panic Legion Fleet Commander, and I just want justice for Claire.
Edgy. We got to watch out for creepy hands. I hear that's a dangerous thing.
I'm so confused at what he just said. I don't have no idea.
We have Poison Kevin from NC Dot.
Yep. Hello. EU Tungsten FC from NC Dot.
Poison Kevin talks a lot.
All right.
Now, no, actually, hold on. Before we go on, Poison Kevin is... I'll be honest with you. I'm very happy Poison Kevin's here because I had a lot of NC Dot people get mad at me for bringing him on as a guest because I should have brought someone better. And I'm glad he's here. And I'll say it live on stream like I said it earlier. Poison Kevin's here and I'm happy.
That's very exciting.
The look on your face is like, what the fuck? But no, seriously, no. Like, okay. There was like 10 like different like people in NC Dot. They're like different like leaders and stuff. They're like, Bo, why are you bringing Poison Kevin on? You can have anyone better. And I'm like, no, I want Poison Kevin. He's right here. He's awesome. He's the Euro FC. He's the guy that killed us. He flies Titans like I do. I want him on the show.
We now have, actually, unfortunately, we have 3 people here from the side of PL and Pandemic Horde, and we're going to keep going on that, I guess, before we introduce Villy. William Crane, of course, is a FC from Pandemic Horde, and people have been saying, William Crane, I've been watching chat, that they're delighted that you're here and that you get to hang out, and that everyone else will get to learn from your mastery. So I'm glad that you're here. Can you show us, can you suggest what you're going to be able to teach Villy and Killabee and Poison Kevin about FCing today?
Well, I guess I can certainly teach people how to keep PL and NC happy. That is something that you have to do, be very good at if you want to be an FC in Horde. You can't do anything without their permission, of course.
I don't know whether you're joking or whether you're telling the truth.
He's being dead serious.
Oh, definitely.
Villy, finally, from Test. Oh, wow, the spin zone. I saw that finally. That is amazing.
Yeah. It has audio, too.
Wow. Wow.
And I can literally have it queue up whenever I want just by pressing a button.
That is perfect. Well, I'm glad that you are here to provide harmony for when Mommy and Daddy fight, William. But on the opposing side, we have Villy here, who is of course one of the primary FCs for Test, and he has not had a chance to fight too much in the tribute thing because he is primarily U.S. time zone locked. But now that things are moving towards Veil of the Silent, we should see more action from Villy. So Villy, why don't you tell us a little about yourself?
Hello, I am Villy. I guess as you've said, I'm pretty U.S. time zone locked for the moment. FC for Test Alliance, please ignore, formerly of the infamous Clusterfuck Coalition. And now just kind of
was that the Clusterfuck or the Clusterfuck 2.0 with all the mining and ratting taking place up north? Which one?
I guess technically I've been part of both.
That's true. Yeah. Okay.
I guess perhaps I am the sole survivor of both Clusterfuck coalitions, and maybe the only person who will survive for the third.
The last man standing. Well, I'm looking forward to the third CFC. That's going to be a third empire of some kind, I suppose. But let's talk about that. So one of the things that came out of Villy, I want to start out with you, actually, because one of the things that came out on the last show, and you weren't a guest at the time, was I remember, I believe it was Killabee, saying that he was specifically going to be gunning for Veil of the Silent because he wanted to blow up your personal Fortizar in TVN. And I just wanted to get your impression. What are you going to do when Killabee comes for you?
Throw money at me!
Nothing. Like first off, the Fortizar in TVN
I'm secretly a spy.
It had a thanks Villy joke to like kind of take on like a thanks Obama joke on it. So, and it was Ron who said he was going to come for it, I believe. But
yeah, Ron Mexico. Yeah.
What I'm like.
Oh, I'm sorry. Like, it was Ron. It wasn't Killabee. My bad. That was not Killabee.
I mean,
that was Ron Mexico.
Ron's not like a particularly good FC, and Killabee's at least decent. So it's like one of those things where like the person who says it carries a little more weight in certain situations. But all in all, it's one of those things where it's if it's a single point battle, we can't really win that against 200 supers. So if they drop on Fortizar and really want to kill it, they're going to kill it. It's just kind of how it is.
What do you think is your best chance to deal with 200 supers? Is that the CO2 keeps Star up tomorrow?
No, there is no meta to kill 200 supers besides like at least 150 supers. You could take a certain numerical disadvantage. If you have like tactical control, strategic control, subcap control, but when it comes down to it, 200 supers is still 200 fucking supers. At which point you're like, yeah, I can't do shit.
Well, speaking of that, I mean, Killa, were you or Poison Kevin on the op to reinforce the MTACO Keepstar just a few hours ago?
Yes, I was leading the PL fleet, and I'm pretty sure PK was doing the NC fleet.
Asshole.
Yep.
So what happened there? I mean, why do you think nothing happened?
So I mean, we've got some sources that say that Gigax was AFK, as Bolt already said, and that seems to be confirming. Obviously, that can all just be rumors, but yeah, I mean, he didn't fire a single shot. We were at least expecting 1 or 2 DDs from the Keepstar, maybe losing some battleships there. He could have. I think he could have zapped a bunch of Macarios if he would have DD'd some, but he decided not to. Apparently, he was AFK. We'll see.
Yeah. So
I'm hoping he's not AFK tomorrow.
Poison Kevin, I have a question for you. I mean, you talked to me about how to assault this thing, and you were sharing your concerns, and I shared my opinion of it. And from what I saw, did he even use the guns? Like, did the thing even fire at you guys?
He didn't do anything. Like,
oh my god.
the DD kills anything. So I was, since PL likes to AWOX my legions, I felt like I can't lose more skill points. So I just sat in a Navy log and was like, what's up?
Yeah, because I was going to bomb, and I was afraid he was going to turn the PDS on, because he's known just to leave it running, And
yeah,
then it didn't happen.
What did Horde do in all this, William Crane?
I wasn't FC. I was actually watching YouTube.
What did Horde do in all of this, William Crane?
Horde was strategically providing a meat shield. No, like... You mean in the Keepstar op itself, or in the whole war?
He means
pick which one you'd like to answer.
I cannot. Like today was nothing. Like I wasn't involved. In the war, we've just been helping out. Like some might say, we've been meat shielding. Personally, I don't think that's like.
You have to fly.
Not really true.
Let him talk. I mean, a moment ago you said that you are being a meat shield, and then you say that you're not being a meat shield. What is it that Horde has been doing?
I don't know. We have been doing a lot of things. We have both been Antosis slaves, and we have been the people making sure that the whole op goes right.
Antosis slaves and making sure the whole op goes right. Does that mean that you're giving strategic direction to your allies?
Yes.
Yeah, so I believe there was a time when William Crane was telling PL how to hack, and PL did all the hacking that day, while William Crane ran around and got the dank frags and dodged my bombs. Like
have you given permission for him to say this?
No, I'm taking him back later. Talk it out.
I don't even know about all this. So I'm going to get a different perspective here. So, Villy, what do you think Horde has been doing in practice over the course of this war, while they've been telling people what to do, while also apparently in their own words being Antosis slaves? So I'm just confused here, Villy. Maybe you can tell me, what has Horde been doing over the course of the Tribute campaign, now the Veil campaign?
Well, I don't know. Well, the Veil campaign has started today, so we'll see what they do in terms of whatever. But in terms of Tribute, what they've done is they show up in either Hurricanes, Tech-3 destroyers, battleships, etc. They usually provide at least more than half of the Antosis capability, and one of their fleets will be the secondary or third tertiary fleet, and they'll generally focus on kind of being, William said the meat shield, and that's fair, I guess, but sometimes they provide very significant combat fleets that will focus on locking you down. And a lot of times when they lock you down, it creates a situation where you're effectively trapped, and then PL and NC Dot gets to drop the super hammer on you because Horde is effectively providing that kind of T1 tackle.
I think. All right, so stop dropping the memeing. Horde's been doing a lot of the problem with Hordes is that our capabilities are limited to our skill points. That puts us into a point where we can't really provide any heavy support to our fleets. We have our doctrines are currently Canes, and sweeples basically that are effective against anything.
Doesn't Test primarily bring Hurricanes?
Yes.
So
wait, hold on. See, here's where I'm confused, because I feel like that
Question to Willem.
during the
When do
tribute
you
part of
plan
the
to win
war,
a fight against
I saw
Kenda?
more Hurricanes at a Test than I did a Horde. Like all I ever saw were Feeples, and all I ever heard.
That's the thing. We
Okay.
cannot provide if we don't do subcamps as well. We can fight the test games, right? But why put Horde in the position to fight the test games when we'll have to commit like 120 people to the to fight the Canes, or we do 80 NC dudes in Legions, Proteus and Legions, and then Horde can defend the Intercessors. So that's what we've been doing.
I have a question here, and it might seem like a gotcha question, so I'm going to let you know that it's a gotcha question in advance, but it's actually a reasonable question that I think allies should be asked to understand the identity of their own alliance. And I asked one of our guests last week from NC Dot about their alliance versus one of their alliances, their allies' alliances. So, William, from what I'm hearing is you can't do things very well with subcaps. You have Hurricanes. Test is, of course, fighting against you, and you have that too. Why should someone, looking at this war, a new Alpha Clone, why should someone choose to join Pandemic Horde instead of joining Test Alliance with Dreaded?
Why? Because what we offer above Test is that we are basically, we give people the opportunity to be of something with peers. With Test, you aren't really with peers. You have a
peers?
very peers in the sense of SP.
He's not wrong. Horde is much more new player focused. It stays very new player focused for the majority of a player's life cycle with Horde, where Test is much more focused on the full life cycle, the full lifespan of what a character can do in Eve. We take newbies in, we take low skill point players in, medium skill point, and we even have a fairly decent contingent of high skill point players, and we try to take them all throughout the 0-0 experience, whereas Horde is much more focused on a certain element of it, and they do it probably better than we do in that regard. But the transition is not the same.
Yes.
Would you agree with that, William?
Yes, definitely. I don't see Horde as the, like, everybody in Horde leadership is aware that our retention isn't the best, and that doesn't matter, because if we have that, then eventually you're going to have a split interest where one side of Horde wants to do high SP stuff, but you also have to cater to the lower SP needs, and that is hard. You guys in Goons managed to do that quite well due to your insane numbers, and where you could do fuck you fleets and a T3 fleet. Here with Horde, we don't exactly have those numbers, so we have to focus. We have to specialize.
So would you say that you're focusing in your special? And what it sounds like to me here, and this is again sort of a loaded statement, but it sounds like within Horde the difference is that do you both agree that there is a glass ceiling within Horde? After which, once you stop being a newbie, you don't belong, you don't fit in?
Kendar's calling me on Skype, thank you.
God damn it, Kendar! Stop!
I would say, to an extent, yes. But
okay.
that is a problem. But that is a problem to an extent, but not to... that it isn't in itself a bad thing, because it makes sure that the focus of Horde stays on the newbies and not on becoming the next nullsec power block.
But is that fair to your guys, though? Because you have people who consider Horde like the lifeblood of their EVE career. They will never leave Horde, they'll stay at Horde, and now they're being pigeonholed into this, you're a newbie always. And, you know, like, I have a question, because Killer Bee muted himself. Damn, I almost asked it.
I think that we should probably move away from Horde and actually get back to Horde.
The question I had for Poison Kevin, in this, again, at least the Alpha Clones, is that they mentioned, we talked about this last week, is that NC Dot does not want Alpha Clones. You know, PL does not want Alpha Clones, because, again, Alpha Clones can't fly a fax machine. So if, you know, I see Horde becoming what Test and Brave were when they got to a certain point where they were a dominant force. Like, they could actually compete with just sheer numbers. right? It's something that we've done in the past. But when you look at, like, the Horde FCs are starting to get to that point where they're serious FCs. Like, they're to be taken seriously. You have to think about them strategically when you get involved, especially William Crane here. But what does that do to you, Poison Kevin, when you're organizing a fleet? What does that do with you when you got, like, a serious FC like William Crane, or you got, you know, Killer B to work with?
How do you mean?
Oh God.
Yeah.
Killer B muted himself. God damn it, Killer B. Get back here.
I'm gonna.
The question is like a mile long. Sorry.
Yeah, let me redirect this conversation because our viewers are pointing out that we've gone on long enough talking about Horde stuff. We want to talk about the war, and one of the things that relates to this is I've been seeing a lot more. We were talking about Rorquals earlier, and of course, ProGod Legend was saying that we need to, nerf Rorquals such that they can't, do hacking in any way. But from a NC Dot perspective, do you see NC Dot putting down roots and tribute and getting income from traditional sources like mining and ratting and utilizing the territory? Is that the sort of plan here with NC Dot going after tribute and Pandemic Legion going after Veil?
I mean, right now we kind of took the void that was supposed to be Horde when everything went, like, when it went to the planning stages. Without being the void, someone has to utilize the space that's free, so to speak. So we're planning ourselves here for, I don't know, it can be a week, it can be a month or more, no idea. I shoot shit, I don't plan that part generally.
I mean, will you be participating with PL's Invasion of Veil? That's the question. Because, like, PL alone, I don't think they can handle test alone. Because you'll know CO2 is going to get involved, you know certain players get involved, and MC doesn't seem interested. From what I've heard, MC is enjoying tribute and messing around and camping gates and just having fun.
Well, I mean, when you say invasion, if you are shooting a low-sec pulse, is that considered an invasion too? If you hit one?
Oh, I don't know, because, I mean, they tried to reinforce 3 systems, right? They tried to reinforce 3 systems. You know, PL wants to kill which our PL representative is not here right now. They want to kill the Fortizar that belongs to Vili. So, I mean, yeah, if you start reinforcing timers in their home region, I would call that an invasion, yeah? I don't know what you would call it. That's what I call it.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, the idea is not that we go for Veil, because in Tosis, it sucks. It's so boring.
Oh, I love it.
I'm
just personally.
Yeah, but like,
PK, why don't you talk about this too?
Come on, man, you got to invade. We Sino-jammed 24 systems this week.
Wait, what?
Don't you go away from me now?
Isn't that like 24 bill a month you just added to your bill? Like, why would you Sino-jam all the things?
Why would you Sino-jam all the things? Is that a serious question?
Well, they can gate now, can't they? They could just gate, and then there's not much you can do about it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm back.
And then they spread out, and then they're trapped under jammers, 5 jammers deep.
I had to save our Rorquals real quick, because...
Were they hacking or were they mining? Or were they hacking?
No, they were mining, and Test dropped their Nightmare fleet on the Rorquals.
Wait,
so I
Nightmare fleet?
Quick.
What?
Yeah.
What? I want to bomb things!
Yeah.
What is this Nightmare fleet shit?
That's apparently the newest doctrine. They have Nightmares now. So they just dropped on our Rorquals.
Who was leading that?
Got him safe.
That's ProGod.
Yeah, it's ProGod.
120 Nightmares.
Oh,
ProGod Legend.
That disappoints me because I could have bombed that. God damn it. Why does this have to happen when I'm having fun? Okay,
well, so everybody knows that these things are happening during the meta show. So.
Yes.
So the question I want to ask is, who's going to be there with you on your invasion of Veil? Who's there to help you? Is NC Dot going to be there?
Oh.
I mean, we've hit 1 system so far, and today they've test formed like 500 dudes or 550 dudes, and CO2 had like 200 dudes at the same time, though they're doing something different. So that's pretty spicy numbers. That's promising. That's promising, yeah. I mean, if Test would have brought those numbers to defend the CO2 space, then there might have been a different war. But
to be fair, we have.
Yeah,
it's just,
I don't know about that one.
After a week of rest, you're gonna get a little refreshed.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, do you think it's fair? Like when you're talking about supporting CO2, Test was primarily showing up with Hurricanes, and this is the first time a Nightmare fleet suddenly. Killer B, Poison Kevin, do you think that if Test had been bringing Nightmares, would that have made a difference in tribute?
Like Nightmare, oh my god, Nightmares are so hard and annoying to fight, and specifically low-sec, but 0-0, you bomb them, you
drop
them
50
with
super carriers on them? Like you did that one time for some stuff?
Say that, Jesus.
Poor Snuff. Snuff dropped these nightmares like mad. They were fighting like mad, and then
nightmares are actually hard to catch. It's hard to deal with because of the AB bonus. If they would have brought those, obviously there would have been a counter to it. Like anytime somebody adjusts to gameplay, but it's at the point where we were, where I think you're thinking about Test committing more, if I can even say that, because I don't think that's fair, but I don't think that would have changed anything at that point, to be honest. It would just have been more bombers ready or something to counter it.
I mean, the reality is we brought Maelstroms a couple times, we brought heavier stuff. It's just that when we're in Vale, we have a little more control of our own jammers, over jump bridges, etc., making battleships a little more viable for us. The reality is, if you have to travel with a Doctrine from your staging to 20 jumps, it becomes an open window to get yourself murder zoned if you go very far. And certainly, Nightmares are not perfect, but they're something we can definitely use. And as far as Nightmares go, this is the very first day we've kind of unveiled them, because we put the post up for them, people to start training them or getting them ready about 3 weeks ago. And this
Are you gonna use them more than the Machariel Doctrine?
Well, you have a Machariel Doctrine?
The Machariel Doctrine's still stuck in Delph, unfortunately. Pro God Legend.
Yeah, Pro God Legend. It's still trapped in the and the Delph.
But actually,
we've canceled our Machariel Doctrine, or I shouldn't say canceled, but we're not using it now. Yeah.
So
I do have a question about this, which is sort of a broader point. So talking about Test's defense of CO2, whether it was enough or whether it was a geographical thing. Villy, why did Test get into bed with CO2 and have this very loud bromance? What was behind that?
Nothing really. They were next door neighbors, so we were allied to them, and then they got attacked, and so we were kind of like, well, we'll be the good allies and we'll defend our blues. It's not really like a situation where, you know, like, I've even said before this all started, I wasn't the biggest fan of GigX, but, you know, while we were blue, he was a good ally. He helped us defend against PL when they came for Vale the first time. And, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, you stand with your blues no matter what kind of thing.
Now, I agree.
I agree that you should, but
you should absolutely hold on. I mean, you should absolutely stand with your blues, no matter what. Which is the reason why I asked the question about CO2, who are not exactly known for standing by their blues, no matter what. But I was curious. So, I mean, you say that you just support your blues because they're your next door neighbors, and even if CO2 is not known for that. But there was an awful lot of propaganda that I saw from Test. Quite good art, by the way. The Test propaganda
Let's be fair
fantastic. Talking about how wonderful friend CO2 was. I mean, so is your attitude about CO2, which is a appropriately realpolitik one, is that representative of the line of your alliance?
It's kind of become that, yeah. I mean, it started certainly off as, you know, we're just allies and we're going to do what allies got to do, but, you know, naturally when members fight and die together against such an overwhelming enemy, you know, you develop those bonds of friendship. And a lot of CO2 members and a lot of Test line members are definitely friends. The FCs have worked together really well. So it definitely created a situation where there's definitely some bromance going on. The propaganda is just Test standard stuff. We got some guys who are really good with it. Not only do they enjoy it, but they do it really well, and it always helps make a difference.
So where does, and I have a question for all of you because you're all FCs, where does the drones fall into this? We've seen the drones fighting in low sec with Snuff Project Mayhem, everyone's third party. That fight recently just happened a couple days ago. It's been happening for a couple weeks. Are they just going to own parts of Vale and just nobody's going to care and just let it go?
Are you talking about Eastern Vale?
Yes, I'm talking about Vale in general. Like, they own a chunk of Vale, don't they? I mean, the drones.
Yeah, we have a pretty standard non-invasion pact with the Russians to the east, and we've stayed to it, and we've kept our word, and they've stayed to it, and they've kept their word.
What I mean is, like, are they going to come to help you?
Small tower, but
because I mean, you own Vale.
No, we have a. We're not attacking you. You're not attacking us. Then that's exactly.
They're just neighbors. They're not sleeping.
Yeah, like we set our boundaries pretty clearly at the start. We laid down the law, and everybody's like, "Yeah, that works," and you know, it makes it nice and easy because they don't have to worry about that front. You know, us and Toasting their shit, and we don't have to worry about that front, them and Toasting our shit. It's, you know, very convenient, very easy stuff. So Xstat is really surprisingly like.
They've always been
down to business kind of guy.
Yeah, he's always like, I always feel like it's okay, let's buy this guy off so he doesn't bother me kind of thing. But I got a serious question. This comes from a friend of mine that was at Vegas with us. And he wants to know, and something that happened at Vegas, one of your Titan, like, sellers, producers, whatever, flipped. He just defected. Said, okay, I'm done with Test, I'm out of here. left, and he actually joined the Imperium recently during Vegas, I believe.
Razorclear?
Yeah, I think that's his name. And the question is how is Test able to work with the high-level, high-profile defections? Like, people just saying, "Oh, fuck it, I'm done with this shit," and rolling off. Well,
he didn't defect. We kicked him.
Yeah, I don't think anyone in Test is going to miss him.
He was leaking intel at a leadership channel, so he was kicked.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Who was this? What was the name again?
Laser Clear. Laser 2 Clear or something like that, I guess. I don't know.
Razor Clear, L2 Acer Clear.
Yeah, something like that.
The famous load tracking ammo versus Titans fella?
Hell yeah, dude. The dude that in P3N with the Macarials. That was him
all
too.
Shade,
I love it.
All
with the
tea,
Maelstrom.
No shade. Actually, all tea, all shade here on the Meta Show. So I got to ask you guys, because we are coming back up to the top of the hour, but we do have more than 730 people watching this.
Oh, we can keep going. We got.
Well, no, we have to ask our guests whether they're
yeah.
interested in continuing, because we don't want to force them to be here and put up with me.
Yeah, I'm down. I mean, I'm saving. The Rorquals are safe. I'm gonna
save the Rorqual.
Yes, the Rorquals are safe. I'm gonna extract the Supers and the Titans now, and then yeah, but I can stay here for sure.
So the question I have then, back to Rorquals for a second, because we kind of skimmed it and then we went on to something else. And what do you? We'll go down the list here. We'll start with Killer B. What do you think of Rorquals in terms of hacking? So there was a big post, we talked about it at the beginning of the show here, by ProGod saying that nerf this shit, it's broken, it's fucked. I made a comment about how T3s have been broken for 3 years and CCP don't want to look at that, so why should they look at Rorquals? And he got really angry, like really angry at me. And I want to know what you think about it. We'll start with Killer B here.
I mean, I was kind of confused about his post because we used them for Entosising a first system in Veil of the Silent and then a second system in Veil of the Silent, and both the Entosis Rorquals used there died. So this whole complaint about, oh, they're so unkillable, kind of, I don't know, that didn't make sense to me because we did lose them, right? Like, we lost both of them.
That's what I said.
I don't know, you just have to play it smart. Like, yes, they're pretty strong for Entosising, and it's questionable if an industry ship should be used like that. I guess I can agree with that. But, like, there's definitely ways to kill them. I mean, they literally showed the way how to do it. We were on grid with the second Rorqual, like we were on grid with our fleet with the second Rorqual, but they were just throwing drag bubbles in our direction, and there was no way for us to get around them. And they were able to keep us away from the Rorqual long enough so it would die. So they did what you have to do to kill Entosis Rorquals. So I don't see how it's a big deal.
When you're 2 Sino-Jammers deep and you have no fleet formed, and we put 150 units on a Rorqual, I don't know if you should be allowed to like form a fleet at the start of the tackle and be able to get to the Rorqual that's 2 Sino-Jammers deep through multiple drag dictor bubbles on 2 different systems before the Entosis is even dead against 160 people. Like, I mean, there seems perhaps something that might be a tad overpowered in this situation.
There's nothing overpowered about it.
So
okay. So now hold on. We got
William Crane. I want to hear what William Crane has to say about why it's not overpowered.
No, it is totally overpowered.
That was Poison Kevin.
That was sarcastic. Like, the moment we realized, like, the moment I saw it deployed in MTACO, I just knew that thing is not gonna have. They just aren't allowed to have Entosis links on them. It's ridiculous.
I mean, it's already really broken with fax, where you get like an 80k, DPS tank or whatever on a fax, and you can pop a sign or whatever. But at least you can still kill a fax if you have enough numbers, in a minute or two, right? But after with a Rorqual, it's like you're looking at 7 to 8 minutes at the bare possible minimum, which seems a little broken, personally.
Yeah. So I will. Poison Kevin says they're not broken at all. I want to hear this. Why are they not broken?
Still all got... Well, I mean, if you look at 7RM, there was this Rorqual who got dropped on by a hell, so there's that.
Yeah, that's... speaking of that, I'm about to link that in a second. So, William Crane, you say that, they're not broken. Is that because your Rorqual pilots don't fit the panic module?
Oh yeah, our Rorqual pilots do not know.
So,
or at least that one didn't.
If you look at chat here, there's a module that makes you immune for 7.5 minutes, and it just so happens that this guy decided to go mining and forgot to fit it.
Yeah, test Rorquals don't fit it either, apparently.
I know.
I was seeing actually that PL lost a couple of
Don't
Rorquals
get me
that
started
were
on
that were
fucking test
mining.
oracles or orcas.
Why?
It
What's
is-
wrong with the test ones?
It is
Dude, I
the
don't-
summer of
No, let Billy go. I want to hear this. What's wrong with them?
Oh, they're just fucking retarded. Like, Sapo's been giving out fucking trials, like, non-stop for a week for retards just mining with fucking hostiles in local. And it's like, better do it some more then. It's only an orca. What could go wrong? Better warp my Rorqual in to save my orca. What could go wrong? Like, oh, holy fuck.
In jump range of our staging in a not Sinogem system, they decided to mine with Rorquals without panic mod.
I think they're
Wow.
I think they're broken in the sense that they can entosis, but I do not think they're broken on any other aspect. I think they mine perfectly balanced at the moment. And I'm only saying this because I haven't got to use mine yet. I just bought it yesterday. And so don't touch it yet. And I think they're great tacklers for like supers and titans. I think
I think
that's what they're good.
also the big thing is that panic mode. It only works if you have something to save you. That is and you see like that video of Bomber Spark killing them. If there's nothing to save them, they're gonna die anyways. It's just a delay.
But if you're part of a large organized
Yes.
alliance, which all of these Rorquals we're talking about are part of large organized alliances,
Like 7RM.
like we have defense fleets, right? I mean, your buddy can pop the panic button, fire Sino, and bring in help.
Or pop the panic button and just have your fleet warp in to kill the hell.
I have one issue with the whole Rorqual SOP. I mean, yes, they are very strong, like I said. The thing is, there's so many things broken about Fozilzov, right? That the Rorqual is just another factor. But you could argue the same way about insta warping claws that just buzz around from node to node and kill your Entosis ships. That is also kind of broken. So then we saw ourselves having to deal with that, right? Like at the start of this tribute campaign, we were using subcap Entosis, and we were facing claw fleets and very fast inti fleets, basically like the what did you call them? Sword fleet, basically like that.
Yeah.
And
Windrunners is what PL called them.
There's basically no way to really deal with them. You can try to set up smart bombing battleships, but intis land so fast out of warp, and they go so fast into warp that it doesn't really work.
Fuzzy claws, that's what we called them.
Yeah, exactly, fuzzy claws. So now we had to come up with something that is basically immune to them, and there's really just one answer depending on how many claws the enemy has, and that's capitals. So we then started using Entosis Apostles, which turns out if you drop 180 bombers on them, that's what CO2 did, they just get one shot. And there's not much you can do about it.
Or 200 hurricanes that I tried
Or
to bomb.
200 hurricanes, exactly.
Yeah.
They just get one shot. So then and then suddenly the Rorqual appeared, and oh look, it has a module that makes you invulnerable for 7 minutes.
Yeah,
So,
so one thing that disappointed me, and disappointed me about Tribute, and I want to see what Killer Bee and Poison Kevin, and even the better of the FCs we can hear, what you think about this important part, is that there was a moment where a fax machine had just died. NC Dot's answer was to drop a solo Titan and a couple of super carriers, and there was no other Sino up. And they had just dropped into another system to deal with bombers, and nobody dropped the hammer on this Titan. Like, what was your guys' thinking there, PK, with putting a super carrier on every node with the fax machine and sticking its fighters out going, okay, come kill this thing, and I'll kill you? Like, what was the plan with that? Because that was ballsy as fuck, I have to admit.
You mean spreading out the supers
Yes.
with one fax?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay,
exactly.
so at the point where you, like Killer said, get kind of forced into using something heavy enough to not get killed too fast by claws at that point, the main issue was actually CO2 running around in rapiers, or recons overall, and, the 500 MN profit, and just cycling faster, getting it done. And a fax can't kill a recon at all, even if it's sitting still, wouldn't really happen. So the idea was that you had a super with something, or the drones rather, to be able to kill that. And if somebody dropped, just drop more stuff, because we were at the point where we could do that.
So what I want to do here, because we're getting to the end of the show, we're going to close it out in the next 8 minutes, but I think that Killer Bee has brought up an interesting point, and I want to go around here, because we've got a lot of people here who are heavily involved in this game, and in the SOV game, and a number of wars, as allies or as enemies. So I want to end the show by asking each of our guests essentially the same question, which is, and I'll start with Killer Bee, which is, what do you think about FozzieSov, and if you would like to see changes, what do you think should be changed?
I think there was one fight in the history, or there was, maybe in the Tribute War there was one or two more, but there was one fight in particular that I think where FozzieSov worked the way that Fozzie wanted it to work when he thought about this whole thing with his team, and that was in the Imtech fight during the What Will Be or Casino War, and it worked because there was 6,000 people involved, right? Because the idea is that you roam around in multiple smaller fleets and you fight over, you have skirmishes in every single system, but by the way the way that fleet commanders behave, the way that alliances like to behave, there's not going to be an alliance that has a 100-man fleet. They're not going to be splitting their 100-man fleet in 5 20-man fleets because that makes them weaker. And so basically what it takes for FozzieSov to actually work is just huge numbers. It's a numbers game. If you have the capability, like I said today, Test formed 550 people over 4 different fleets. If you have the capability to form that many people, then FozzieSov probably works alright for you, because you can actually have a Serb fleet skirmish in System A, and you have the Nightmare fleet in skirmish in System B. But if you look at other sizes, and I'm not complaining about us, because we can just do supers on that one grid, Titan on that other grid, right? We can play around it as well, not with subcaps, but with caps. But for other alliances, they can't really deal with that. So I think the system is a nice idea, but it doesn't work because right now all it does is it encourages people to basically run away from each other and just, keep the nodes clear and Entoses. It doesn't encourage you to actually fight. I'm not saying Dominion was good or anything, but if you wanted to kill those SBUs, you had to commit something to that grid to kill these SBUs, right? You had to use dreads or whatever, or your entire subcap fleet. And that was the chance for the defender or attacker to come there and fight with you. But now, if the enemy shows up at node A, you just warp off and go to node B, and you try to contest node B, and you just keep running away from each other until one side wins. And that's incredibly boring, in my opinion.
Well, to be fair, on the counterpoint to that, let's say this was Dominion Sov. What would I have done today with my 500 dudes versus your 200 supers?
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying Dominion was perfect. It can't be restricted to one grid. I think it should be. I like the idea to split a fight over one structure to be split over multiple grids, but I think there should be a reason to commit to it. For example, what I would like, what I've brought up to CCP at meetups, what I've told CSM, I think it would be an interesting idea if you could shoot the nodes and there would be a damage cap on them, just like on Citadels. That way, but you could also Entoses, right? So that way, if you are like a smaller scale group, like a 20, 30 man alliance, you can use Entoses. Or if you are a bigger alliance and you have the means to commit assets, then you can also commit assets. Maybe it goes a little faster than the Entoses thing,
and maybe
but you have to commit. Yeah, you get a kill mail, and you have to commit some assets to the grid, which then would, result in maybe that those assets getting tackled and then having to fight.
I think it's very disappointing, though, that you can't get a kill mail afterward.
The lack of kill mails is a huge problem.
Yeah,
and
because
I agree with that completely. We just got to go to Poison Kevin next, because I want to get all the perspectives of these guys. So Poison Kevin, same question. What do you think about FozzieSov, and if you have opinions about how it could or should be changed?
No, I mean, we've obviously been talking about this a lot of times over the how many months it's been out. But the whole promoting running away, so to speak, or just one guy can troll Entoses, it's kind of boring. There's a lot of griefing involved for sure, and it comes down to a war of attrition, as everybody loves to call it. The claws or Inties in general being bubble immune in this kind of environment is also, in my opinion, slightly broken. There are easily a bunch of counters for it, but I think it's something that they might have just forgot about when they issued the FozzieSov, just people being able to ignore bubbles and just have no stopping capability at all. They just warp around and do whatever they want.
Fair enough. Vili, same question.
What's the question?
What do you think about FozzieSov, and how would you improve it, if you think it needs to be improved?
Honestly, I think FozzieSov is mostly okay at this point. It's definitely got some minor problems, but for the most part, having been through it in a couple wars, aside from like the issues of like single vulnerabilities, like you reinforce an item, then you only have one chance to defend it, kind of thing. And the obviously, Killer Bee talked about the element of troll entosis kind of thing. I think it's okay. It's really hard to say what is the exact answer to fix Sazisov. I think it's tolerable in the state it is now, but I don't know what the exact answer is and how to fix it.
So would you say that it's sort of like having herpes, but it's okay because you can medicate the outbreaks?
Jesus.
That's actually not unfair. Like I think that's a decent analogy.
Did you just call Fozzie herpes? What?
Fozzie is tolerable. It's okay because it can be managed and controlled, and it's not so bad. And it sounds like herpes. Thankfully, I don't have that. But
wow.
I guess you just put a cream on it, and maybe the Fozzie outbreak goes away, and it's not so bad, guys. You can live with it.
Yeah.
The thing is,
go back to mining.
If I can say one more thing, the thing is, and it's something that we've come to realization now in PL, in the PL leadership, is that Fozzie won't go away, right? Like, as much as we complain about it, we have to start dealing with it. So we all have to find a way for us to make it as fun as possible. Now, there's people that enjoy it more, there's people that enjoy it less, but I've hated it until 3 weeks ago, and now I've slowly started to figure out, because I've actually started dealing with it, how I can play Fozzie that it is at least somewhat entertaining to me. And I mean, eventually everybody will do that, and then hopefully it won't be such a pain in the ass anymore.
So we
maybe there will be a cure. Maybe there'll be.
We almost forgot William. The most serious FC in the group.
Yeah, we're going to William here. William, what do you think?
So, like, I love the fact that Fuzzysoft allows lower SP pilots to at least have a meaningful impact on, or almost relatively meaningful impact on the fight. Because with SBUs, like, you're not gonna go 1,000 sheeples or something and shoot an SBU. It was the big boys' game to fight over Sol. What I don't like is it just doesn't promote fights. There's no fighting. So to fix it,
Really?
No, like, most of what I did this war was getting 100 Seeples together and keeping inties and rapiers of nodes.
Yeah, but like, let's compare that to what it would have been like in Dominion Soft, where you guys would have just put, however many capitals or super capitals on a node, and there wouldn't be any chance of it.
You realize Horde would have probably never participated in Dominion Soft because I would have just bombed them, whereas
exactly.
now you could just run around and go do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
I enjoyed, like, the best response to the claws was eventually just the Seeples, because the claws wouldn't be able to catch the rapiers per se, or kill something, so we'd be able to catch up to them, and at that point they usually die. But
now, I got a question though. Why are you guys flying Sveeples? I mean, didn't Fozzie just nerf the shit out of them? Aren't they supposed to be?
No.
Okay, you're talking post the war, right? Now it's in the war.
The Sveeples are, this is the only thing I actually know. The rest I don't know anything about. I can honestly admit that. But the fleet Sveeple hasn't been nerfed at all. Well, except the signature. But due to the fact that you have 100 people in fleet, like, only at most 3 people are going to be shot at. So the rest can always be in sharpshooter mode and do the full DPS. That is, and because we also fly RT Seeples, and the artillery hasn't really been nerfed. It was the autocannon part that really got hit. To Horde and to the other alliances that fly their Seeples and Jackdaws and stuff, it hasn't really affected them that much.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, like, on a massive scale, though, I don't know anyone that flew autocannon Sveeples that would be that dumb to do that. Do you?
Actually, hold on.
In Amos.
Oh, really? Okay. Poison Kevin has a question that he wants to ask, if we have time, and then what we're going to do is... no, we're going to close things out now, because we've asked everybody the final questions. Poison Kevin has something he wants to ask about, and then we are going to move on to giving shout-outs for our subs and donations, and we're going to be doing this again next week. We'd like to invite all of the...
No, we will not
FCs.
be.
We will not. Oh, that's right, because it'll be in the middle of the
Alliance to Imperium Turn will be live streamed, and we will have...
Next time we do a meta show, we're going to do something exactly like that. We'll have a bunch of commentators like these episodes.
I've got a good meta show lined up, and it won't be next week, but it'll be the week after if the scheduling works. So we'll get to his question real quick, and then I'll reveal what the plan is for that. Ask your question.
Alright, so you pulled up you said something that triggered my mind. You mentioned that you would have bombed Horde if it was more like static grids.
Yes.
Which has been quite a big topic lately amongst a lot of people. How, I mean, in a sense, FossisOff is working, but you know, like you said, you can manage it, but there are sure some things that could be dealt with. But the whole thing with multiple grids kind of defeats the purpose from bombers. Like, bombers is a pretty static thing. You know how they were a force multiplier when they were brought in the game. You don't really see that many shield battleship doctrines anymore. Or maelstroms and rattlesnakes, I guess. And then you have these dicks coming out soon, as the CCP called them, that supposedly screw over bombers entirely. So instead of 7 bombers being actually useful, now you might actually even need up to 40 for them to be useful in the same sense. And CCP says they want to give the little guy something, but it seems like they're always just increasing it to a numbers game with stuff like this.
Yeah, so instead of 20 bombers, it'll be 40. Instead of 40, it'll be 60 to 80. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm just curious, like, what do you think about that? Because
what do I think? That's the only part of.
You're the best person I can ask here.
We came north. Like when we came north, right? Immediately coming north, I had PMs from a swath of different people on both sides going, "Fuck, we're having to change doctrines. Why the fuck did you have to come up here? I want to fly Hurricanes. I want to fly Brutixes. I want to do this. I want to do that. And now I have to go to Speedpoles. Now I have to go to Claws because you're just going to bomb us. This is ridiculous. Like from GigX all the way down to normal line members in Horde. And the thing is, though, with FozzieSolve, if you're just sticking to the FozzieSolve, if you're not fighting over a Keepstar, if you're not fighting over a Moon, hint, hint, if you just do FozzieSolve, bombers are practically useless. I just sit on a node. And I wait for someone to be dumb enough to come to that node. Like, Horde's done a couple of times. I think tested once. And then we just bomb that node, right? So we sit there perched above the facts. And we just wait.
Great show.
So, yeah, that's how I deal with that. That's the only thing I hate. The reason I hate FozzieSolve is it's not static enough. That's my complaint, because now I can't bomb as much. I have to chase you around. I'm not going to chase you around. I'll just sit in the system and wait.
I mean, chasing something in bombers is literally your death. So that's it. Like I said, they literally took them out of the game, and with the Dix thing, they're making them even more useless.
Honestly, I feel that bombers have just been they've eaten, I think, 4 or 5 nerfs. Like the meta has really shifted against them. Like where Tech 3s are, you know, probably the most primary doctrine in EVE, I would say, and they're basically useless against those. You've also had the situation where they increased the bomb flight time, which gave you increased time to warp out, which is, I probably saved 200 Hurricanes of mine a couple weeks ago. Like, just, you know, there's a variety of things that they've done to make bombers more and more useless. And honestly, I'm not going to say that they're balanced now, because they're probably a little underpowered in terms of where they need to be. But I don't think the strength of bombers, or I should rephrase, I don't think the new destroyers with the Defender missiles are going to play a factor at all in terms of the effectiveness of bombers or not. Just because, you know, it's like they're fucking destroyers. You can either kill them in any fleet fight you want to, or you just ignore them. Like they're just.
Yeah, but like as a third party, that boat does. That if you can't really kill him without just bombing, there's no way you can do anything.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, instead of bombers, I'll just bring, you know, Stinky Pete's, I guess, because I mean those things still. I mean, they haven't bothered to patch Stinky Pete's and Claws.
All of these things. I mean, sort of like the Spipple will probably.
No, it's like seriously though.
2 years.
Like I bought 50 of them. Like I dropped like 50 billion, bought 50 Tengus, fit them all up, and I literally hand them out to Bomberwaff guys if we can't bomb, like if it's a low sec fight. And that's what'll happen, because they won't nerf T3s. CCP won't dare go touching those, but they'll go after bombers 6 times in the last 5 years.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Well, I think that is going to be that for today. So thank you all to our guests, and we're going to do this for our next meta show, because we've got the Imperium tournament is coming up this next weekend. So we're going to be streaming nonstop the Imperium tournament. We're going to have a lot of exciting commentators. We're actually going to have a bunch of folk. We're going to be using the same server that you see on the Alliance tournament. It's going to be very exciting. Looking forward to that.
The next set of guests, I've been talking to some people, and they gave me an idea, because I was talking to them on Skype, is that I'm going to try to make it, instead of this one being all FCs, make it all CEOs. I've got about 10 different big name CEOs from, like Elise, Vince, guys like that. I'm going to go call in a favor.
That's
like,
interesting.
come on the show.
We can have like leadership talk.
Yeah, like a leadership talk. We've had FCs on here, but every time we bring FCs, they're like, I don't know what my alliance is doing. I just kill things. So now we're going to bring the people.
We can do meta shows episodes where we've got like leadership, and episodes where we get a bunch of diplomats. We can sort of run there. That's a great idea, but this is fantastic. So let's give shout-outs to our people.
We have a few. We have Where's Wally subscribed for 2 months with Twitch.
2 months, thank you.
Twitch Bucks. Pork Butt for 21 months. Thank you, sir.
Wow.
Shut the fuck up, Paco. Subscribed for 2 months. Jackie Eve, 2 months, both with Twitch. And then we also had a couple of donations. We had Anonymous.
Skull Air also.
We had a misspelled Poison Kevin. He says, I'm kidding, guys.
Or was it misspelled, though? Was it misspelled?
Yeah, it was hilarious. And then, so thank you, guys. That's really awesome.
Thank you for supporting the stream, and we had an anonymous donation there at the very end, so thank you all so much.
Yes.
So as we close things out, one of the things that we're doing slightly differently on the Meta Show, as you guys saw, we are actually beginning to integrate the Imperium News website with our streaming. So we have, before every Meta Show on Friday, we're going to be posting an announcement of who our guests are and what you can expect, and you can make comments in that article, and we will ask questions of our guests or incorporate your comments into the show. And after this show is over, you're going to be able to find an article with a replay and a summary of what took place here. So
basically, I'm gonna start doing this on Thursdays instead of Saturdays. Normally, what I do is I get home from the gym Saturday. I sit down with a big
Festive Cock Liquor.
Dude, thanks, dude. That's awesome. So
that's an excellent.
Yeah, normally I sit down on a Saturday, spend like 2 hours going over the week's news, and I'll just probably do it on Thursday instead, when I get home from work and stuff.
So it's going to be awesome, and I want to thank our guests for coming. This was a great show.
Yes, thanks, guys.
Interactions all the way around, and I'm glad to hear that the best possible thing that anybody could say about FozzieSov is that it's manageable, and we can't ever really get away from it, but you just have to try to make it as fun as possible.
The Eve herpes!
And use a medicating cream.
That's what it is.
FozzieSov is literally herpes. You heard it here first from the grand consensus. All right, guys. Well, thank you all so much. And again, final shout out here if you're interested in supporting the organization with streaming or with writing or with helping out with graphic design. Imperium News is recruiting.
Oh God, I just did the CCP, please, sir. When you said herpes.
Oh my.
Please, sir, can I have another?
All right. So we're out of here,
yes.
but Boat is coming up next.
Yes.
What are we doing on the Boat show today?
I'm deciding between Kerbals or Eve. So based on how much chat spam I get, I'm either going to play Eve Online or I'm going to play Kerbal Space Program. Both spaceship games.
Well, either Kerbals or Eve, guys. Sound off here in chat if you want to see Boat play Kerbals or Eve. And thanks very much to Killa B, the champion of the Casino War, the destroyer of the Imperium from Pandemic Legion, Poison Kevin from NC Dot, Villy from Test, and William Crane, who is secretly managing and keeping the entirety of the PL and NC Dot coalition together from Pandemic Horde. Thank you guys so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
We're delighted to have you on again, hopefully soon.
Ciao.
Yep, later.
See you.
All right, we're out of here, guys. Thank you.
You are about to receive messages that may be harmful to your mental state. Your sense of reality will be questioned. Your view on things will be altered. You are now part of the meta. The meta controls everything. The meta determines what will and will not happen. You are watching The Meta Show.